Today we're going to be looking at cover letters. The objective after this video is for you to be able to write a persuasive cover letter that will go with your resume. So today when we're doing our job search, you might notice that employers don't necessarily list their open positions publicly. Instead, they may rely on people from within the company to fill the positions. They might use recruiters to seek individuals qualified for the job. Using your professional connections and your networking abilities can help you tap into what we call the hidden job market. So things like handshakes, the way you communicate, all those kind of things sort of creates your personal brand. And you need to have a positive brand when you're seeking for a job. The first piece of personal branding is to be self-aware, to reflect on who you are. Then you can unpack your career journey and sell yourself in more effectively. So there's certain open market employment sites like Monster, Indeed, those kinds of online open market employment sites is one place to look for in the open job market. Some people use LinkedIn and other social networking sites to find work, but it's more important, I think, to start networking. Networking means to, join the association for the career that you're interested in, go to conferences or meetings, join volunteer opportunities, just anything where you can meet people in that area, because more often than not, those jobs are never advertised. They just do it by word of mouth. And just be conscious of building your personal brand. So you have a reputation, especially if you're from a smaller community, and that reputation will be your brand. And so if you want an employer to hire you, they will ask people around them, what can you tell me about this person? So just be conscious of those kinds of things. One of the things that's come up recently is something called infographics. So this is a different way to do a resume. And you can see that it's pictures and graphics and color. It's an effort for people to stand out from the competition. I would warn you, though, it makes it very difficult for hiring managers to understand it quickly. The average hiring manager will look at a resume for 6 to 7 seconds. That's it. And you can see this is quite busy. There's a lot going on. So I don't think you need to make your resume or your cover letter look like an art project in order to stand out. And, here's some examples. So what they've done is they've written the cover letter with all these infographic type visuals, but it's really about personal choice. You want to stand out, but, keep in mind that the average employer only looks at this for a few seconds. And it's a double-edged sword putting your photo in. Some people put their photo in, but you have to keep in mind sometimes that can mean that you don't get an interview based on whoever is doing the hiring. So it's entirely up to you. Do you always need a cover letter? Well, cover letters don't replace a resume. Instead, they complement it. So your resume contains a formal list of your professional experiences and your qualifications, but your cover letter gives more in-depth explanation of those qualifications. A cover letter also allows you to emphasize your relevant skills and achievements. And it is necessary because it gives the employer or hiring manager a more rounded description of your personality. It offers you the opportunity to explain why you are the ideal candidate for the role. And you can also explain any gaps in your employment that they might see as a red flag on your resume. It's also an opportunity to show that you know a little bit about their company. So I think it's really important to do a cover letter. It personalizes your application, and of course, it highlights your communication skills, your written communication skills. So there are some situations where you don't need to send it. If it's explicitly says in the job application, don't give me a cover letter, then you don't do that. Um, when there's no way to include one, so sometimes you're applying for a job online and there's absolutely no space to put in an attachment or to write a cover letter, then you don't need to do it. When you don't have any time to write one, so you're running out of time, then you might be rushing it. And in that case, don't do it. Or when your cover letter is identical to your resume, then don't bother. Your cover letter and resume should be significantly different. So nowadays, a lot of applications are sent electronically, but you still need a cover letter. So the email that you attach with the application could be your cover letter. And so the two would be someone specific from you, subject. You want to be very specific here. A lot of them will advertise that you need to put the position number. And what they're doing there is they're trying to see if you can follow instructions. We can see here attached is something, maybe their resume, but you still, normally in email, you don't do dear so and so, but you're going to do that. You're going to write this email as a formal cover letter. So even if it's electronic, you still need a cover letter. The option is you can also just attach your cover letter if you want. So, what is a cover letter? Well, it's a formal business letter. It's often the first contact with your prospective employer. It's an introduction of you and your background experience. So, you want it to be your best. Many employers won't even look at a resume that comes without a cover letter. So, the cover letter is a marketing tool. It communicates to the employer you're interested in the position, you're interested in their company, you have something valuable to contribute. In certain situations, a well written cover letter can be even more effective than the resume itself. So do your homework. Before writing your letter, find out as much as you can about the organization and the specific position. That lets you tailor your letter with your skills and qualifications that match the organization and the position. Anybody who can write a cover letter, but you want to make sure that it's well written and it shows your personal side, demonstrates why hiring you is a smart move. It's a way to stand out among hundreds of other candidates. And it gives context to that resume. It's not a summary of what you have in your resume, it gives further explanation. And again, even if you're applying online, you will still need a cover letter. So this is a little video about how to write a business letter. So in case you don't know how, we're going to just take a brief look at how to write a business letter. So that's how to write a business letter. In the module, I have listed a template for you in case you're not sure what goes where. So this is a website that explains why cover letters matter. So this is something that you might want to go and check out later. They give you quite a bit of information there. So if you just go to linkedin.com and search why cover letters matter, then you'll be able to read that there. So how do we set up the letter? Well, first you need a hook, then you need a body, and then you need a closing. So the hook is how you gain attention. So here's who I am, why I want to work for you, where I saw the position. Be unique, be genuine. Again, there's some excellent resources here on LinkedIn if you want to check that out. In the body, you want to think about what specifically would you bring to this position. You want to make sure that it's very specific to that position, that it's not generic, that it doesn't just go for any position at all. And use the words from their advertisement in your letter. So if they talk about, we want someone who shows initiative, use that word initiative. Discuss your strongest qualifications and personal traits. Make sure you give, pardon me, make sure you give specifics. So you need direct supporting evidence. You need examples. You need dates. You need numbers. You want specifics. And avoid repeating I. A lot of cover letters, every second sentence is I. So you'd want to try avoiding that. And in your closing, summarize why you're a great fit. Ask for an interview. Again, watch out for the I. Thank them for reading your letter. And avoid cliches. Cliches are phrases that are overused, like, I look forward to meeting you. The things that they see 100 times over. And definitely include a signature, whether it's electronic or handwriting. So this is a really good video about cover letters where she gives you some pointers. Oh, maybe not. We'll forget that. So an effective cover letter, to summarize, uses business letter format. It's reader friendly. It's unique to that particular job, and it uses language from the job that's advertised. It says how you found out about the job, so whether it was advertised or someone told you about it. It's grammatically correct and error-free. Any errors on the letter sort of is a screaming message that you're incompetent. So you want to make sure it's perfect. You want to explain why you want to work at that particular company. Include specific examples of what you've accomplished. It should refer to your resume, and request an interview provides appropriate contact information and is signed. When we say appropriate contact information, we mean, if you have an email like my niece, Bad Kitty 69, you don't want an email like that. You want to change that email, get a new one for appropriate contact information. And keep in mind that this is how they're going to reach you if they want to give you an interview. So make sure whatever phone number you supply, you're actually going to check. You actually have voicemail. So basically, there's 15 best practices for cover letters. One is authenticity, so showing genuine interest in the company and the job you are applying for. So, make it real. Customization. So your cover letter should be customized or tailored for a specific job. You should never use the same cover letter for a bunch of different jobs. Each one should be customized. You can use bullet points to highlight your best qualities. You want it to be brief. You don't want it to be more than 3 paragraphs. Um, Hiring managers get hundreds of these in the mail. They can't deal with all of them at once, so the briefer, the more chance that it'll actually be seen. When you give your specific supporting details, you want to quantify your results and accomplishments. So if you increased sales by 10%, you want to include that statistic. If you've worked in this field for 5 years, you want to use that number. So anywhere where you can use specifics, that's really good. This is a really major point. So address your cover letter to a specific person. Don't put "Dear hiring manager." Phone, find out who the person is. Get the correct spelling of their name. So in Winkler here for the school division, there's a fellow and his last name is Thompson and his first name is Shane. Well, everybody keeps spelling his first and last name incorrectly. And what a turnoff, right? Why would he even look at it? But you want to put it to someone specific. And that way, the person who's intended to see it will see it. It shows you've done a little bit of work. So try to find out the first and last name of the person, not to whom it may concern. You want it to be logically organized, so a clear beginning, middle, and an end. You want it to be demonstrable, so say what you can offer to the new position, show examples that you're actually good at solving problems. Use keywords smartly. So those keywords are the words from their job advertisement. So you want to not just take their words and throw them in. You want to integrate them effectively. So you want to be quite clever with how you use those words and give specific examples. So if in the job ad they're asking for someone who can type, I don't know, 45 words a minute, then you want to say, I have 7 years experience as on a word processor, and my last test, I could type so many words per minute. So you don't just take their words and put them in directly. You try to give some context. And remember that the cover letter, you're actually selling yourself. You want to sell them on you so that they hire you. So make sure you talk about why you should be hired, why you and not someone else. Make sure you use that business letter formatting, use the similar fonts, make sure they're well balanced. The heading should be the same heading that you put on your resume. So formatting is also an impression. It's a first impression. So then you should also use action verbs. Use power words such as developed, solved, design, innovative. In the module, I did put a list of action words. So try to use those action words in your cover letter. Make sure you proofread. Don't get cocky and say, well, the spell checker checked it. You need to look at it at least twice and get someone else to look it over as well. Make sure you're compliant. So anything in the ad that they tell you you should have, make sure you've done that. So if they say list the number of the posting, then make sure you do that. If they say include your references, you need to do that. Sometimes employers use this as little tests to see how well you follow directions. And lastly, make sure that if you say you've attached your resume, make sure you've actually done that. And actually open it up and make sure you're sending them your resume and not your recipes. In the module, there is a sample cover letter that you can take a look at. You'll also have an assignment where you evaluate some cover letters and tell me what's good about them and what's bad about them. Then you're going to be writing your own and submitting it to the Dropbox. And that's all we have to say about cover letters today. Thanks.